What do you think society would look like if, let's say, the men that was capable of it, even in a non-sexual way? I know
I'm not
everybody
speaking.
against being everybody against
Well,
being a stepdad and all of that. What do you think that solution would be if those men had active roles in those women and kids' lives just universally, like similar to like a all day Big Brother program? What would the end result be?
well, I think it would look cool in the long run. There would just be a lot of growing pains because, like I said, like you have to deal with people's entitlement first before you can actually get to the benefits of the things that you're introducing. Like,
Yeah.
and then also, I think that if we had polygamy and it was legal here, I think it would be kind of similar to Old Testament. Like, you would have the people that are really successful, they would have the most women, but the people that are like average, there would be still a large amount of men that still have relationships or still be married. It's just that the brothers that are like really up at the top, like they would have the most. And people will be like, it just is what it is. And then they just go on about their business.
Mhm.
People, average people would still be married and they would still be in relationships and they would still be having kids. And the richest of the rich or the most affluent or the leaders or the kings or whatever that got bread, they're just gonna have a whole bunch of women and just keep it pushing. It's gonna be Old Testament.
I want to challenge that idea because, like, I hear that so often, and yet the quote unquote Pookies and Ray Rays get women all the time.
They sure
We
do.
have,
Jesus. They be
like,
cheating in jail. How you do that?
but so there's that, right? And so I think they might not have the assets, but they have the skill set to juggle multiple women. Um, and I know it's going to sound really controversial, but let me tell you, those homosexuals would definitely be winning by taking on multiple women, right? I don't think it's one of those things where it's just for the elite. Not to mention, like your everyday average person, as long as he has the skill set to manage multiple women, the amount of pooling of wealth that could exist to take them out of their economic status would also be exponential. So I think it's significantly easier for men who are wealthy, but I don't think it's impossible for men who fall underneath that either. I think everybody has access to it. I think it's only successful if the social skills are there to be able to manage everything.
Because
Yeah,
even when you look at some of the people who are living that type of life, when I see it on the internet, and even if they're doing it legal or illegally, they aren't the richest people in the world. Like usually when I see pictures and they're like, "Oh, I have two wives," they aren't usually wealthy men. They seem to be very average men.
now I agree. It's not impossible. But the thing is, the reason why quote unquote the Pookies and Ray Rays they have a lot of women is because of the simple fact of the matter is that nobody else is looking at this men besides these women. Like if there was a system and there was a group, like there was a committee, like if women actually move by committee, like people say that they do, right?
Mhm.
Before this guy can sleep with you, right? What's the benefit? The reason why the Pookies and the Ray Rays are getting by with murder is because these smart, educated women, supposedly smart, educated women, are out here messing with this dude, having the time of their life with this peen, and then they're not realizing that they're actually getting bamboozled. Now, granted, are they getting what they want? For sure. They are getting some very good action from this thing that they're really attracted to. Cool, fantastic. But the issue still remains is that men, most men understand that having sex with a woman comes with responsibility, which is why when a lot of brothers have like they want to marry you, or if they see a potential with you, they understand that I have to get into a position to where I can take care of you. If a man is willing to sleep with you but not take care of you in any way, shape, or form, help you in anything, bro, woman, you are effed up in the game. Like you got to understand, like, yo, listen, even though sex is technically an equal exchange, you giving your body, he giving his body, right? It's technically an equal exchange. However, men understand that we have to be givers. Women are receivers. So that means that if this brother ain't willing to give you anything else besides pain, it's your fault, man. You shouldn't be. Women should not be sleeping with a guy that only gives them pain. Shouldn't.
And I think that too. I think that we give too much credit to women because I think just like Pookie and Ray Rays who go to school and educate themselves, there are Bonquishas who do the same. So they are usually attracted to their tribe, so to speak. Just because she's educated does not mean that's not her tribe, because it goes by where she was raised. These are the men that she was raised around. Her dad is probably just like them, So I think that what you're looking at is like, oh, this good woman, but I think you have to look a little deeper into that, because most women aren't like looking at Pookie and Ray Ray like, oh, that's the man I want to be the father of my kid. Unless that's what she was raised around. Those are the men that she's attracted to, because those are the men that are part of her tribe. It's just that she decided to go to school. School is only 4 years. You live at home for 18 before you even go to school. So I think that we have this tendency to believe that only men were raised in the projects, or only men were raised in a certain type of way that may be like the Pookie. And I don't want to say projects because I know some great people who are raised in the projects, but where we tend to only think that that's only men, but there are women who are also the counterparts of these men. You understand? Does that make sense to what I'm saying? So if we give them credit like, oh, women have to be all the way up here. We have a higher standard for them just because they were born a woman. No, that's his cousin. That's his sister. They were raised by the same woman in the same household, same foundation, same stand.
So the other part to that, right, is that if that man were to decide to engage in poly, there is also another person to offset, right? Because like you said, they tend to attract these intelligent, high-performing women, right? If you bring two of those women together into that dynamic, is she really losing? She's not coughing up as much money. She has somebody to split the rent with. She's got somebody to go shopping with. There's an offset to what could potentially be a negative impact of initially, if it leads to marriage, obviously, right? They can function as a team where they're both satisfied. And let's be honest, the stats have not changed with how many women experience orgasms. They're both satisfied. They don't feel like they're losing anything because you still get a teammate and there's still a man in the mix, right?
It's like the Golden Girls, but with a man.
Yeah. I'm not saying that it's ideal. I'm not encouraging this behavior. I'm just saying that there's a possibility where there is a solution within the thing that we identify as a problem in the community.
And I'm willing to identify that you're reaching because the simple fact of the matter is that only works for not a long time. Like the simple fact of the matter is the reason why these women are these smart women, they're not sleeping with these men because that's what they're used to. It's not their tribe. That's not why they're sleeping with them. They're sleeping with them because just like a fly goes to the light, it's because it's a natural attraction trigger. Like women,
they're
most
attracted to
women
them, for
are
sure.
designed. But I'm saying, but it's not because that's their tribe or they grew up seeing it or nothing like that. It's just that it's something that they're attracted to. A fly cannot control that it's gonna fly into the bug zapper
Well,
because
being
it has a
attracted
natural
to
affinity and
somebody and having a
attraction to it.
kid by somebody is two different things.
I mean, that's fine, but what I'm just speaking to is not because I just don't agree with what you were saying as far as it was their tribe or nah. It's just the
Well,
fact of the matter is this guy provided something that she was attracted to. Whether it was smart to be with him or not, it did not matter. She wasn't thinking about anything. All she saw was like, ooh, I like. Just like if you saw a piece of cake that you really like. Oh, I like cake. I'm gonna go eat cake. Same situation. She seen a dude that she thought was attractive, no matter her education, her thought process, none of that came into play. All it came was natural instinct of, oh, I like this, and I'm going after it. That's all that it was.
And let's not underestimate a smooth talker. You know, one thing about these Pookies, honey, they are some smooth talkers. They are they that attraction not only comes physical because they be in the gym looking ever so ripped, but their mouthpiece, like they, you know, they have a way of, and women are emotional creatures. When you get in that head, you know, that heart is gonna follow, and then they lose their head because now their heart is involved and they ain't thinking about shit else, you know. So I think that it's a combination of a lot of things. Like these men are just, they just know, they have a way with words. They know how to, because I've seen, let me just tell you this. I've seen, you know, like these little drug dealers, right? They take care of their women. They spend money on her. They know how to treat her, and she falls in love with that, forgetting about, okay, he's a drug dealer. And sometimes that can, you know, play a role. So I think that when you're looking at a situation like that, you have to look at the entire situation. Not that I promote it. But sometimes them men be like smooth talkers. I'd be like, I almost had the second. Boy, sit down.